it brings back a lot of memories and history to the city.
It's quite a daunting task, actually.
It was a very long process.
The Central Fire Station was built in 1911 by W.A. Elliott. There's a lot of history in there. It was centrally located, so your response time from that particular area was very quick. Basically, the city hadn't grown as much as it has now, so it was actually centrally located. Everybody knew the Central Fire Hall. Children coming from the schools on tours and so on, as well as people from in the city would always stop by or always would wave, stop in to see how things were going. So you would take them through and show them all the various pieces of equipment, whether it was summer, winter, whatever, they would stop by. When I started talking to the retired firefighters that would come in and that had actually been present when they had the old horses. They had their routines. As soon as the alarm came in, the horses were active, they were ready to go, they knew something was happening. The modernization and the technology has been a great thing for the fire service. So not having to rely on all the horses and the cleaning and that sort of stuff with them. Once they started to get the equipment, it allowed for a more uniform production of pressurization for water, for hooking up to hydrants and being able to propel the water up to the different fire scenes and so on. And then the changes that came at the old fire hall, basically modernizing the building to be able to house the equipment. Changing the doors. The style that they have now is very similar to when they had the actual horses, where the doors actually swung out. When I was there, they were all overhead doors that you pushed the button and the door went up, so you didn't actually have to physically go and push the door open. It was hard to see it deteriorating, and you wondered whether anything was going to be done with the actual building, or whether it would just end up being another parking lot in the city.
I think it was an opportunity. And it kind of came up. My wife pointed me to it at first. She said, you should do something with that building, because we didn't understand what was going on with it. We initially drove by and she said, you should do the fire hall, because I was looking for a project to do. And I said, no, I don't want to do the fire hall. Right, it's too big. But 6 months later, I don't know what changed or whatever, but she mentioned it again and kind of pushed me in that direction. And I said, I'll take a look at it. So I did. I made a few phone calls and I got in there and started looking at it, and I kind of fell in love with it and what it does for the community. And I would not like to see that iconic piece disappear in our community. I think we'd be all poorer for it. It happened actually very, very quick. There's a lot of work that went into it in a very short period of time. You can't wait and plan too much. You have to jump in with both feet and start wrestling with the building right away. If you wait and you plan and you think about it some more and that kind of thing, you kind of lose that initial energy you had, that initial inspiration that you had to go for it. What I was looking at is actually from a structural point of view initially, right? You see the aesthetics on the outside immediately upon looking at the building, and it's beautiful. The heritage component is the exterior of the building, not the interior. I have license on the interior to do whatever I want to do, but not in the exterior, because that component is the heritage component. It seemed to lend itself immediately to a restaurant, the layout that you see today. I mean, it's kind of natural, right, in terms of that, and you go, wow, that worked out really well.
They've done a great job on taking the older building and bringing it into today's use, but keeping the aesthetics of the actual Central Fire Hall.
Right, so that's kind of the things I saw, and I really liked what I saw, and therefore we moved forward.
Today I have the opportunity to be able to look at the old Central Fire Hall before it's opened up to the public as the new restaurant. So the chief's car used to be backed into here, and at the back of the building here, where the kitchen is now, used to be the back shop, and that's where we stored all our turnout gear that used to be for the off-duty firefighters. It was all positioned back there. Back in the corner here, back in this area here, used to be where the kitchen was situated for the firefighters. We used to do big cook-ups here, which is very interesting to see that they've made this place into a restaurant. And the firefighters were very creative in their cooking techniques. And it was always a situation that if we were doing a cook-up, you had to be ensure that if we got a call, somebody had to run back and shut everything off so that we didn't end up having a fire in the kitchen here while we were away attending to somebody else's emergency. So
We've got certain little aspects that only the firefighters would recognize.
they have a place where, when the old kitchen used to be in the Central Fire Hall when we were working on shift and so on, there was always a rack where you hung your coffee cup. And
What doesn't mean anything to the general public, but when the firefighters see it, I've heard a few of them tell me that they teared up because that used to be the wall they'd hang their coffee cups on.
and hang it on the wall there to bring back the memories of the older days. So.
All right, you guys, we're almost ready. Good hustle. Thank you very much. It was chaotic and everyone really rose to the occasion. We're going to stay focused tonight. Huge challenge for us to get to this point. So in that sense, there's a huge sense of accomplishment. Really want tonight to go to well. So trying to get all our ducks in a row, everything prepped, all our mise en place done, and then we'll just go forward from there. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Actually, 3 or 4 years ago, my husband and I used to drive by a lot because I lived in Shiloh with him, and whenever we'd come to Brandon, we'd come down Princess, and I always said it would be really cool to have a restaurant in that building, so the last 3 or 4 years, it's actually been in the back of my mind. It actually kind of fell into my lap. I did had a catering company before this, and I did a catering job for the guy who bought the building, and when he called me up to pay, he had mentioned that he had bought the fire station, and he offered it to my chef and I as a restaurant.
What I love is that I've worked in this town long enough that I know a lot of the regular people who come to restaurants. And our first day open, and one of my old regulars is out sitting at the bar. So people are coming to what we've created, and I find that fantastic.
More often than not, they're happy, and we're trying to keep ever changing, and hopefully we can continue to serve the Brandon community for a long time.
as a restaurant. I know the firefighters that I've talked to are keen on being able to go there.
A lot of the firefighters that have been in here have actually specifically said to me that they're so happy with what we've done and how we've turned the building into something a part of the community again, and that it's a place that they can come and eat and drink and be merry and be happy, and so as long as I have their support, that's my biggest concern.
It's great. People love it. They love how the restaurant is finished off, the lighting in there. And I can just look forward to when the doors open in spring and there's music playing on the patio and people all over the patio, and it'd be really great. I think Brandon needs that. It's a lot more cosmopolitan, and I'm certainly looking forward to it.